Man, my bad, yo. My battery died out on me. It's all good. Alright, I'm back now. Alright, sorry about that. Let me keep it going. Well, what up, Michael DeLine? How you doing? Alright, well, I'm gonna keep the story going because I just want to leave this data anyway for everybody. So, when I was awakening in this star being, I know, no, as a matter of fact, let's pick it up from the sun staring. We was up to sun staring. So, sun staring is the most key element. The first part of my lessons is sun staring. And I teach that first to awaken you because we're sleeping. Even though we're awake, we're not awake. It's called a vigil state of sleep. It's like when the sun come out, the stars are still in the sky, but we don't see the stars. But when the sun goes down, you see the stars. It's the same thing. You wake up and you think you're awake, but you're not awake. You're still sleeping. It's just that your eyes is open. How you know that? This is how you learn that. And these are the steps that you take towards coming into consciousness and what consciousness means to states of unconsciousness or sleeping or the vigil state, which is what most human beings is. Vigil states is what you call only seeing what's outside of your physical eyes. So that renders you to stay sleeping and stay unconscious. When you wake up or your consciousness wake up, it's like now you have now an intuition, an inner you that actually is your inspiration that guides you. When you're asleep, you live off of your five senses. This vigil state of unconsciousness. Greetings, Monica, Heath. How you doing? This vigil state of consciousness that we're talking about now is actually like let me see. It's like you wake up now to realizing that your five senses only gave you the ability to respond. And being able just to respond, you only could see something and I could say, hey, how you doing? So you go, I'm fine. Nice day. You're like, okay, yes. But like by yourself, I'm bored. I don't have nothing to do. Let me see what this. La la la. Because you only have a five sense response system, and you depend on your five senses to actually entertain you, give you something to do, program you, whatever. So that's what is only known as reactiveness. You only can react. So that's why you become what's called emotional. Emotional is not a true state of mind. It's only part of your five senses. It's a reactive way of how you're feeling about something you're experiencing. It becomes chemical. So when you leave that through the basic way, I would recommend people who want to learn like how to leave their emotional state and their chemical way of producing situations that make chemical reactions, because we do that unconsciously and we don't know it. Is to actually engage into hatha yoga or Panjaliya yoga, which actually discipline your mind to not actually want or to be panicking or to make superficial chemicals by imaginary thought forms, which they call in Sanskrit the chitta. You have a mind full of chitta that makes these things called vita, thought forms. Once you get a concept of this, you will be more caring what you think, caring what you eat. The chitta and the vita, the chitta, which is the many things you're thinking at the same time, which turn into thought form, it actually has a very true reaction compared to what you eat. What you eat make you think. You are what you eat. That's a very serious thing. So let's say you're going around eating, you're just going to be thinking, and that's not good, because for you to do, you have to actually allow yourself to talk. Like, I'm going to share a story with you real quick. I remember when I first got activated, being that this is 4th anniversary edition or whatever, I actually took the journey the first time all the way to my real self. Where I was at, I don't know, it's in another place, another time, but it's a man just sitting in a meditative position, like Manu sits. It's just sitting there, and that's the person making all this happen. So I made it there. It was a long journey, walking and planets different locations, environments that was weird, on a journey that it was just an orb light I followed for maybe 4 or 5 hours to just one man meditating. And it was so vivid and clear. I saw it so clear. But after that, it became a very hard journey to relive. I've been always been following that journey back. So I'm letting you know that you're not actually here. You're just tapping into yourself from here. So your emotions play a very serious role in awakening. If you're emotional, you're stuck in different parts of your brain that you can't see clear. So you have to learn to overcome emotions, which is part of the earth, air, fire, water system. They call that the fire because it's actually combustible. It's no control on it. So by us controlling our emotions or learning to be emotionalists, we get intelligence where we take the breath and then we can handle situations better instead of us just being a five senses person that actually just react to whatever something happens or an impulse that cause a sensation on us. And so by us controlling that, you learn in the words, in things like inspiration, insight, those things will be the ones to guide you to say, I'm not going to eat this food because it's GMO, or let me read the ingredients when I'm buying it to make sure it's not messing me up. Because when we say that America is stopping us from actually ascending and doing these things to us, nobody's doing it to you. It's only offered to you, but it's up to you to consume it. So ain't nobody forcing you with a gun to take anything. But for us, we don't realize we ourselves is not disciplined to say no to certain things that will kill us. We'll actually execute ourselves. If we was rich, we'll kill ourselves by the way we eat. So being poor has its um, qualities and its purpose, which is to actually save you, give you good health, because you can't afford to go buy fast food and everything all the time, which speeds up your death. So, when you start becoming disciplined, you learn to not just eat with a mediocre or in moderation. You learn to not eat too, to give back to the ancestors. Once you start realizing that your body itself is like a factory that it intakes, it has to break down, it has to allocate everything, and then it gets rid of the waste. You will see a system that you will have to wait. Before you intake again, you have to outtake. And you have to let everything process itself with knowing the time chicken take to leave the body, beef take to leave the body, pork take to leave the body, and what starch is doing to the body. Are you just eating starch every day? Starch leads to a more less frequency body for you to leave. Where if you have an acidic body, it's easy for you to body double, astral project, and stuff like that. So all of these you have to take into consideration because they're falsely put here to stop you from actually activating your pineal. If you still use toothpaste, you're killing your pineal. You'll never be able to ascend. I stopped using toothpaste 4 years ago, and I recommend you just use baking soda or mix of something or something that don't have fluoride in it. Fluoride is in salt. Salt is fluoride based. So you got to make sure you're getting these stuff that's been put as prisoners on you. They stop you. Hormone foods, anything like say you buy your beef or your chicken from Purdue, the ones with the name brand on it, that's hormone-based farm food that stop you from astral projecting, from you leaving your body, from you having psychic abilities, and render you just a servant. So you have to learn these things is what's here to work against you, and you have to be mindful that your organic body, and you have to put organic things in it, and sometimes disciplining yourself not to eat is good. And if you're resonating out of resonance, if you're big, if you're not into form, you need to work on the sun. Go out in the sun and stare into the sun. You don't have to stare in it with your physical eyes. You could just look at it with your eyes closed and let the radiance actually purify you. The sweat and the fluids that come out your body is the toxicity that is inside you. Now, if the sun is burning you and it causes you to get a suntan, you don't naturally suntan. Nobody naturally suntan, white or black. That's nasty toxic stuff that's in your body that's burning. If it hurts, It's just toxicity. The sun is beautiful and it don't hurt and it don't tan, it don't even scar. I'm a I'm a mediocre burn person, and I spend, I would say, about 6 to 5 hours daily in the sun, just staring and admiring and doing my thing. And I'm light skinned. For some reason, I haven't got burnt brown. And thing they'd be like, damn, you get lighter and lighter because I got a strong magnetic field that resists all of that stuff. So if you see yourself tanning, getting brown in the sun, you really have a sick system, and you need to more antioxidants. Antioxidants will stop that and take it out. So I recommend go look into antioxidant and cut down on the toxic levels of the foods such as chicken from Purdue and these name brand companies that put hormones in it to actually beef up production. Try to go to a kosher place and get kosher meat that's been killed right and pured right if you really care about what you're eating and everything, you know? So I recommend you, this is awakening for unblockages. All these foods is designed to block you. And if you want to ascend and leave your body, have it that when something is about to happen, you see it before. You don't have to actually go force meditation in this. You just want to be one and pure with the energy. You have to take off all impurities off of you. All impurities. You're pure already. But remember, they're adding the impurities. You're adding the impurities. You would want to take this shirt off even and let your cells breathe when you're in the house. You're taught to wear a shirt. When you was taught this, they know what you give off heat. The black body give off black infrared heat. So clothes absorbs this into your cells and kill your cells. So when you're not accompanying you by yourself, you take off your clothes, being just your underwear, and you're saving yourself because genetics breathe and share information. Keep plants and trees in your room. Plants and trees is your best friend because your body gonna share genetic information with only natural things. And if you don't have natural things in your environment, what are you sharing genetics with? Think about it. You understand? So these things will help you get yourself back onto track. And sun staring is the first step to actually waking you up. If you Google sun staring giving you superhuman powers, you see NASA did a whole write-up on it. This now after purify you, it stop you from eating. If you want a diet pill that is the best diet pill in the world, sun stare. Sun stare get rid of your appetite permanently to where you have to remember to eat or you're going to turn into a stick. You'll never be hungry and still strong and full of energy. That's what the sun do. Check out that post. NASA sun staring give you superhuman strength, and you'll see the whole write-up. They do it over a year study of it and tell you what happened within each month of you sun staring, and it goes from not just healing you and fixing all the ailments. After that, it start giving you psychic powers and superhuman abilities, and then it goes on to actually making you want to fix the earth, fix the world, and give you angelic powers. All that is in the write-up. So if anybody's actually like, oh, this is real or not real, read that and you realize who you are. And what your journey is through the sun. And the sun has everything to do with it. So if you have, like I said, eating issues, depression, anxieties, sun is the key. Go stare at the sun. It's lessons to it. Don't think you could just go stare and you think you got it. Don't work that simple. It's more deeper than that. And once you get the understanding of the concept of how it works, then you will be able to actually feel a difference. You'll feel energy coming on. You feel your head. When you sun staring, it feel like this part and this part is coming together. You feel the cleft of your mouth open up like the ridges and everything. You feel your tongue slithering around and moving. Your ribs start moving. You feel energy got your face. You feel crawly spiders all over. It's opening of your chakras and your nadis. If you're not actually understanding these, then you're not doing it right. You're doing it for your ego. And when you do stuff for your ego, you create a demon in yourself because you believe this, because what you expect is what you're going to get. And so you would want a person who could show you the right way, guide you in the right way. So on that note now, you know, when we talking about now the other world and how we get up in there, you talking about the dream world. So the dream world is actually your shadow world, the astral world, the real world where you came from before this that cannot die, and it's the shadow of this world. We're the shadow of the real world, the dream world. It's the creation. So this is the physical part that casts the shadow for the shadow. But the shadow casts the physical. It's the ficus of the shadow world. Just can't be in the world. It's like the doo-doo of it. So we're this part of it too. So you live in both. One you're conscious of and you stay more of because it's density. But you go back once you lighten up, the load is off of you and you don't feel that weight on you. You float out and you go back. So when you get caught up in attachments and you get yourself into this responsibility, kids, you know, these things you brought on yourself, you put these anchors that hold you down from being able to leave. And until you get all these burdens off of you, you're not able to actually float out yourself. But you see, one day you accomplish all your goals or you finish everything, you're just sitting there and you're going like this. And all of a sudden, it's like the reality start waving. Everything just turned into waves, and you see circles and things start popping. You're like, what is this? That's because it was always there, but you never could see it because you only care about what you responsible for, what you got to do. So that's something I bring people back into terms with and let them see. So with the sun staring, it's like the sun gonna point you to the moon, and the moon is gonna point you to the star, and all of this form the Trinity, the same Kepha that we're talking about to Binah to Chikma, and that's the journey of the crown, the works. Alchemy comes into play now, where you're transformed down into your Mudala Raha chakra, where you start now coming back up to your crown chakra. But it seems like a surreal experience facing demons, creatures. This is where you see all these peoples coming in now that is psychics, your tarot readers all over the place that is here now, and all these conscious people that's doing all this stuff. All of this is brought to you by your chakras opening, and it's been open from the 2012 movement, and we're going up. And once you see your gift, your abilities, what you're here to do, you will embrace it and just find work in it. You'll get paid by just what you love to do. That's what these abilities is for. Now, if you want to learn more and to understand it, like I said, this is just the basics of it. You will have to understand, like, chakras is basically light circles that actually you are in already. It's like your destinies. There's a whole bunch of dots that you're supposed to connect with. And if you don't connect with them, you're missing them. You're in the dark of space and your dots is all over you and you're just running around with it. But when you're doing chakras, it's like you stop being in an abyss of space and you're only hitting dots. Everything is right for you, aligning, money coming in, that's right. You're like, oh, what the fuck? Everything is working out for you. That's chakras because you aligned yourself. And so that's what the soul do, Ascension do, Kundalini awakens the worm inside your spine. And if you abstain from sex, the true you come in now and you start the chakra journey, the chakra work. And from there, it takes you to like the mental plane where you start whatever you're going to be into as far as angel. The mental plane now is the teacher of what we call mandalas and mudalaras, where you just do hand signals. Every hand signal is a different frequency, and you learn how to gatekeep and go through gatekeepers to go through different perception of yourself. Everyone is a gatekeeper from the crown chakra all the way down. So once you get up into um, the astral world where it's just mind, it's only a hand, and he's a teacher. It's an angel that teaches you everything. Like that's who taught Buddha. That's who teaches the whole Jupiter and Jesus and all that stuff. All of these was taught to us by higher beings. Higher beings is the only people who could give us our consciousness back. They locked it and they unlock it when they feel they're ready. And so when you saw that we went from barbarian hunter-gatherers to where they said people just came over and civilized, it's because they came and unlocked it. They don't want to tell you the truth. And that's where floods and disaster come, because they come and just destroy it and come back. Because everything is alive. And they tell us today that these ain't alive. They're alive as forces. Everything is forces that have and governs this world. We don't govern it. They do. Peace and love, Raven D. How you doing? All right. Yeah. So once we understand those, it's like we get to understand the gods, what we are, how we work, what compels us, how the forces work against us, or why Star Wars, may the force be with you. So all of these is real in our lives, but we just don't understand what their play is on us because we're being manipulated by the Europeans to believe in whatever they tell us. These Egyptian stuff, this Hebrew stuff. Am I this? Am I that? Am I African? Am I that? It doesn't matter. It's me, Damon. I said, what's up, Raven? You didn't hear me? I saw you. How you doing? All right. So with that in mind, just now my battery had died on my thing. I want to take y'all through some pictures and for us to have greater understanding of it, you know. But if y'all didn't get it from the last post, I'm summarize. This is about angelic beings that I interact with that came to visit me last night. I haven't seen him in about 2 years. That knocked me out because of the energy he produced. And, I wanted to share the story when he came a few years before. And I was going to tell you how he taught me to be a seer with my eye open. Being a seer, you're able to see in the world of the unknown, what goes on in the unknown. It's visible to us. I gave y'all the mask of the Titan. I told y'all this is the mask of the Titan when gatekeeping. This is nothing. I'll give y'all this for free. This is also the mask of the Titan because of the headgear. You see that. All of this is the mask of the Titan. This is the mask of the Titan. And that's a gatekeeper dude you have to pass. And I think I was going to give you one more, but it's already well known. But if you get them, you'll get them all. It's a whole bunch of them. And when you pass a certain amount, it's like you get a crown. You get a crown that you put on your head. I got the crown maybe a few days ago, about a week ago. I went through a meditation that I wasn't prepared for. It was too vivid. No, I heard you, but I said that because you said, what's up, Raven D? Speaking my screen name is if you didn't know that the person behind the page. I'll just let you know for just in case. That's what's up. I got you. Alright, now the crown, right? The crown is real. Let me break down the crown, purple and indigo beings and Plato real quick so you understand how that comes into play. Well, the crown is your soul when it completes itself from the Atman, the animal soul, to the divine higher being soul. It's like when you first be an unconscious, individual state of yourself, you believe you're the physical matter form. Matter is demonic. It's from the Satan demon world. That is a fact. Anything physical goes to Satan. And we're worshippers of Satan demonic things. But when you go internally, inspirationally, you belong to a soul thing that is different, that is psychic, and it's a psychic world, and people got psychic powers and do Dragon Ball Z shit. So now you get into that world, you see there's a two difference. So you want to separate yourself from attaching yourself to the physical body, the physical you, because your soul chases your desire. It works for you. So if you desire something in the physical world, you shot your soul out of yourself, and it's in that what you desire. So this leads to what now we call vampirism. Vampirism will be the same as somebody getting in your heart and getting in your mind. You shoot your soul into them because you're concerned about them, and they walk around with your soul. They're you, and you're soulless now, and you're hurt and you're in pain. So this has a real effect to don't attach yourself to anything outside of your external self because they are actually using it against you. This is what vampirism is. Vampire is created by the beast. The beast actually been around from like Count Dracula. You see them because there was the first people that sought out power. When you seek out power, that means you wasn't loved. That's the movie of 300. In 300, the kids when they was born, if they wasn't strong and aggressive, they dumped them over into the pit and killed them. That's representing power. There was no, we don't want love, we want power. It's the basic concept. So if you don't have love and wasn't raised with love, you become this thug, this killer, this person that just want to use people by actually, power would be like, I'm going to give you a simple idea. Instead of you asking somebody for $1, you would create a situation to get the dollar. You understand? That's power. We seek power. We don't want the dollar. You could just say, "Here, give me the dollar and give it to you." No, you may create a situation because you want to make him do it. But you, by your control of making him do it, That's your power seeking. So you have a lot of people who use the vampirism to control people because they're under the power influence. When you get under the power influence, you lose your God power, you forfeit it. So now you have to get power from materialism, matter, the beast. You understand? So when you have to get your power from the beast, they're cut off from ethereal energy. And so life force energy become your only form of surviving. So you have to suck it. It's in the blood of every human being, but it's replicated in vampire movies by people drinking blood. But in life, it's taking the life force out your blood through a psychic attack that they know how to do, which is actually they it's believe it or not, a psychic vampire or a vampire don't know they're a vampire. They're born that way. They was cut off from prior lives and they have to feed. And the person they don't know that they're feeding, you see them as brats, little kids, people who's drama queens and kings. They're actually vampires. And when you talk demonology, that it's using psychology to get energy from you, and you forfeit that to them, and they live longer because they cut off from the ethereal energy. So they have no choice but to create these situations. But like I said, they don't know they're creating these situations consciously. Sometimes when you tell them that they're vampires, it turns against you because the energy denying it attacks you. Remember, we're thought forms first before we're physical forms, so they're over us and they're there to give you your best interest in your daily survival. So it will go feed for you, and you would just be playing it out like, hey, I'm talking to you, and how you been? Yes, and the thing is feeding off. You just feel better. You don't know why. A common one is the scapegoat, where you come home from work, I hate my job and my boss, and I'm just talking to your friend, and it's like, oh God, you're just beating them down, because you didn't talk to your boss back like that, so you know, so you're saying out that energy and sucking their good energy, and energy transfer happen, and you're like, oh, I feel better, and that person now is wearing your energy. So that's what we do as these psychic vampires, and we cut off from the ethereal energy. But there's other beings, the people from the sun. When I tell you sun staring, you just get your energy from the sun. Even if you're a vampire, feed off of the sun, not off of people. You understand? So that's the whole purpose of it. But we ourselves, we got eternal energy, and once you're a child from the sun, and that's where you get your powers from. So once you realize that there is actually children of the sun, and the beast itself, matter, what has people that is materialistic, is part of matter, feminine aspects is the matter, and you realize that they don't have a source energy, they have to get it from the souls. So it's always a soul that's teaming up with a beast. Them two is the best partners in life. You understand? So we get these hybrid kids that is half and half. Alright, now I was with my friend, and we was talking about a message she sent me about the yoni, and it was called Cum Cum, K-U-M, and it's in reference to some body stuff that actually was, you pour it in water, but it had a sexual sensations to it that made me want to put a part of my research into this post, so you understand how we've been deceived, and how the word kahum, kahum, canoe, kawan, all these words, Kali, is in reference to the vagina, the panani. So I'm going to break down who Kahum is, the Egyptian Kahum, and see if you get a great understanding of it. This is a picture. Let me go back to this so we get a good understanding. Right here, you see the word is Kahum, or Kahum, or whatever. So I'm going to read it, but I'm going to show you the basic of what I'm saying first. What I'm saying is, this word has always meant like the yoni. And with it meaning the yoni now, you see this guy over here. You see, he stands for the yoni. He's not the god like we said. This stands for your panani. When it has the horn on it, it represents the sexual energy. So this right here, you see, this will be the yoni right here. And this will represent Ida and Pingala. This is a caduceus. And this is one energy spiraling down. This is one that we would call Obia Odu, Ida Pingala, Isis Osiris. I put the names on top of it so you get the idea of what this energies are. We know them as Chikmon Bina, Isis Osiris, Ida Pingala, or OD and Obu. Do. And you see, it's actually the caduceus or your spine. This just represents the spine and the energy. And he will represent the Panani, the Yoni. The Yoni is also called Ketha. That's the energy of just what the Yoni produce. So, with it now, you get the words Kahum, Kawan. Hold on, let me pull that up so you get to see what I'm talking about. It's basically, we've been tricked about the man on the potter's wheel. You know, the potter's wheel represents the pussy, the vagina. I'll tell you straight up as what it says. So, I'm going to read this one for you real quick to give you an example of what it actually said. You can see it. You know, for me it's kind of twisted, so I'm gonna read it, turn it around, but I want you to see it. It says, the seed of the fire snake is the vulva, which is, as it were, the second eye. So the second eye, what we consider the first eye is here, the second eye is the vagina. It is represented in the Chinese system by the trigram Kuan, that's Khwan, and the callus, Kalas, of the effuva of this eye are represented by the trigram, or the TUI. You know, the TUI, if you add the A to you got Tor. You know, this eye is also called the Ain, the AYIN, of the Ein Sof, you know, the whole Kabbalah system, whose number is 70, which represent the maternal aspect of 7, the number of the primal goddess. So you see, when we're talking about this Kahum, Kawan, which is supposed to be a male figure, it still turned out to be the primal goddess. It's the energy that we're talking about that makes it the primal goddess. So now it goes on to say, among other correspondence are the words Lil, meaning night, and SVD, meaning the secret. So Lil, which we consider now like Lilith and Lil, we call it demon. Back then only meant night or neath. Those was the actual words that it meant. And its true meaning meant the seat, the couch, the God set, a sacred chest, a ark, a box, a sarcophagus, all which invokes the idea of death and mystical life and death. Therefore, in Al, the word Kahabs, which is Khabs, is described as the name of my house, meaning that the star is the name of the abode of the fire snake, with the house being the Yoni, the Panani. So now we get to see that worshiping of the star is the worship of the Yoni. You know, here it is in the Egyptian form right here. I want you to see it. You could Google this word, which is basically the Egyptian god Kahum, Khnum, Khnum. You see, we did Kawan, and now we're looking at Khnum. And you will see Khnum, it says, is an ancient Egyptian god who was the god of the Nile Induit from Elephanti, who he guarded the first cataract. Kahum appears portrayed as a ram-headed man and holding the scepter and the ankh in his hand. Sometimes he's depicted as a bull-headed man at the potter's wheel. So that's who Kahum is. That bull-headed man at the potter's wheel, that's who I'm telling you is not really a person. They drew a figurative picture to represent the Yoni. And if you're looking at it, it's just the caduceus. And the energy that comes to the caduceus, which, you know, would be the thing over it. So you see it right here. I'm the one who brought it to reality and deciphering this. So what we call in the potter's wheel and all that is just the caduceus. You know, and the two people on there just represent two energies. You'll see it come out later on if people do their research. Because up here, you see this now. It says, if you could read it, I'm going to read it to you real quick as you look. And that is that the Ida and Pingala nadis, the lunar and the solar currents manifesting in the human body as the left and right branches of the ganglionic nervous structure. So that picture, this is just the ganglionic nervous structure. That's all this is. When they show you this, they're showing you the ganglionic nervous structure. That's where in the sexual organ. So, like, if we are able to understand this, we're not able to see what's going on because it has a very funny overtone to it that makes us have a perception of seeing it in the wrong way. Now, I'm going to bring this to your attention, too. This is what everybody's trying to figure out. What does 111 mean? What does 222 mean? What does 333 mean? Here it is. Could you figure it out? Because this is to actually make you learn. If you look at these numbers, you see it's zeros, and then what numbers appear after the zeros? The one same number 3 times. 111, you see next in the middle, 222, middle top, I mean, and then 333, and come into the center, you see 5. Wouldn't you like to know what all of them means? All of them is just basically the nine chamber system in Enochian angelic talk. Each one represents a different angel. Well, if you want to know what your time is, the time of whatever it is will be represented by one of the angels, and the angels is written in a Hebrew form because the Hebrews took it from the Ethiopians. So that's where we get our 3-digit number system from, of seeing these beings. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Alright, now, in the Tantric symbolism, the state of Samahati is the union of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti is those two people I was showing you, the two energies. It is the true, if it is true that the total union known as no end, it means that the aspirant who has achieved this condition will not return. You got to understand that. I want to read it to you. I'm going to show it to you first. And I'm going to point to the word, will not return. You see, it tells you you will not return once you achieve a certain level of awakening. So for you to understand what that means, and we read it again, it's saying Tantric symbolism, the state of Samahati is the union of Shiva and Shakti. If it is true that the total union knows no end, it means that the aspirant who has achieved this condition will not return, will never again return from his free state as a Jivan Mukta, as liberated while yet living. So your purpose is to actually liberate yourself while you're alive. You can't liberate yourself when you're dead. You understand? So it's very important to understand that I will point to the word that you need to know that it's important is while you're still living. You understand? See what the living is at? That's when it counts. Not after you're dead. Let me worry about death when I'm dead. You ain't going to understand it. Okay, now to understand that when your soul come in your body, you're not going to feel the same no more. It feel like somebody's in your body with you. You feel like you're possessed. This is from one of Carl John's books, and this is what he had to say because he experienced it. If you want to, read some of the stuff like Red Book Diary, is when he had his soul awakening, and it was scary for him, and he thought he was being possessed by demons. So he write, the crossover from Minapora to Ahata, says Jung, is a difficult one, for in its lies the recognition that the psyche is self-moving. The psyche is a being inside you that actually connect with each other. That's why it's called psychic. Now it says that it is something genuine which is not yourself. It exceedingly difficult to see and admit, for it means that the consciousness which you call yourself is at an end. You are no longer master in your own house. It is a Tantra Yoga Jung concede that realizes this psychogenic factor as the first recognition of the Pushwa, the cosmic man. So you see, there's a cosmic you, the highest you, the cosmic man, right here at the bottom. You see it? And it tells you that you no longer the master in your own house. Up here, I'm going to point to it. I want you to understand that. You're no longer a master in your own house. So things happen to you, and he's a psychiatrist that studies this. And when you feel these feelings, you're going to realize that something is on you, something is taking over you. But it's not to hurt you. It's to show you that you're not real. You're fake. Like how Morpheus came to Neo and told him that, yo, you're not who you think you are. That's how that works. But they're giving it to you in a movie form. But when your consciousness wake up or your kundalini wake up, that's what it's telling you. You're not who you think you are. That's like Mowgli in that movie on Netflix, Alright, so I'm going to go from there into Adonai, because a lot of us ask Adonai, the being, Adonai is my God, this and that. And the reality, I'm going to leave this here. You see the word Adonai right here? That's the definition or the meaning of Adonai. I'm going to hold it there for a quick second. For me, it's backwards. I can't read it as I'm holding it, but I just want you to see for yourself. so that we see. What we call an Adonai is a Hebrew word signifying the Lord, and used by the Hebrew when speaking or writing of Jehovah. So when we saying Adonai is this God, it's like saying the word the Lord is a God. There's no way you can make the word the Lord a God. So just saying Adonai is the same thing as saying the Lord. And he goes on to say, the awful and infallible name of God of Israel. The Jews entertained the deepest awe for the incommunicable and mysterious name, and this feeling led to avoid pronunciation. It is, and to the substitution of the word Adonai for Jehovah in their sacred text. This custom still prevails amongst the Jews, who attribute to the pronunciation of the holy name the power of the working miracles. The Jehovah of the Israelite was their invisible protector and king, and no image of him was made. And so he was worshipped according to his commandments, which was an observance of the ritual instituted through Moses. The term Jehovah means the revealed absolute deity, manifest, only personal, holy creator and redeemer. Everybody have one, but Adonai is not a god. It just means a word. So a lot of people, I just want you to understand that don't stick yourself to your worshiping Adonai. As you're just worshiping the word, I am the Lord. You're not worshiping the true being that you're looking to, tap into. Alright, now I want to just share some other knowledge with you real quick. Hold on one second. Okay. Now, here I'm going to give you a quick overview of the system. I got it over here. Now, we're talking about this caduceus right here. You see the caduceus up here? It was first discovered in West Africa from the beginning of time with these two letters over it, OB and OD, and AWB or whatever, which later on got in touch with Aleister Crowley as AWAS. The OB and OD would represent the feminine aspect of it when we was in the matriarch period, and it actually was more of the mother that was ruling. The OB would be the father, which wasn't conscious at the time, which is half of the caduceus, or the half of the serpent energy. It was OD that came to consciousness because OD was a manifestation of the first manifestation of OB, called OB Kether, and then it manifests. The second is the feminine. It splits into two. The story of Eve coming out the rib. The second being matter. She had to come down now and create this reality, which is Kundalini. And we know them as Odudwa and Odudwele. This is the first version that I'm from seeing, which is the caduceus. One side representing electricity, one side representing magnetics. Now, and looking at that now, it was also reflected in, don't look at the names. I don't want you to concentrate on the name because it's been rewritten in every language. But these is basically the concept of how we look at energy. Masculine, feminine, male, female. It's always been here. So it's telling you that one is female and is the chief goddess of the pantheon called the Black or the Black One. And then this is important for you to understand because Obi-Dua, that means the Black One, and the Obi-Tele means the white and the king of the white. And it's very important for you to understand that because I'm going to show you what the king of the white is and what the black is. This is the white right here. You see right here? This is the white. This is the king of the white. Obudele would be this. And the black Obudua would be this. These are two, like, we look at it as reflection, but that's not how it works. When you're going into the God world, everything in this world is a being and it's alive. So you will learn when spirit, or when they said the God of the white or the white dragon, they talk about reflection, the white light. It's alive and being if you using the law of observation, which brings subatomical particles to life. Alright, so with that now, being the God of the white, you understand how spirit works. It's a living thing. So on that note, I'm giving you a look at what we would call the three, Kether, Bina, and Chikma. with the abyss being the middle right here, going across. This is the Trinity that we've been talking about. With up here now, you see this point, you got your different forms of it. You know, the black one, this and this. This became our God. Everything is still the same system. So I'm going to slide through because like I can't read it from upside down, but you get to see what's going on here. This system actually is what we're living under that create every religious system. This same God of the white was replicated and our ancestors put in white on their face, the ashes. This was initiation for them. They did that so that they could be part of the spirit world. It wasn't that they was bugging out or into anything. When they put these on their face, you know, you can see as I wrote in this note, it says, when tribal Africans cover their bodies in ashes, they are initiates of the mysteries. Plastered in white clay denotes transformation into spirit, aka the white dove. So when we're looking at the whites of these, the white elephant, all of these represent and is today symbolized because they took it away and they don't want to see the scary image, so they show you shit like the white dove, all this other stuff to give you their version of the story. Now here go the funny part. When we talking about Obi-Dua and Obi-Dele, this is what he look like. You looking at Set. This is Set. Look at this. This will scare the shit out of you in the astral world. But this is an androgynous being, male and female, able to make both, protect the world, wings. So you gotta understand that's Set, Obidella, male, female, Hadith, Neve. That's all one person. The black one, the female Isis, the king of the whiteness, male Osiris. It's a transsexual god, and that's where everything started. I'm gonna leave this for further more stuff, but it's like this type of information you gotta be able to understand for you to take the journey back through these. This is your whole journey. If you was to just see it the regular way as the tree of life, this tree of life is your spine. One day tree of life, and then when you flip it upside down, it becomes the night tree of life. Those is all inside of you, and you travel through it psychically. Now, the powers that be is what I'm going to teach you so you'll be able to make it through the journey to make it to the other side. You know, so I just wanted to give you all some of that basic research right there. Just for the record, so y'all understand, the black horseman represent the scale. Any picture you see of the black horseman, he's just a man with the scale that balances out things. They don't have him as no thing what we see. You know, we just got it twisted. The black horseman just represent the scale. We are the angelic beings. That's who we are. You understand? And you have to learn the angelic science through the magnetic field and how to go between dimensions. All of this is Egyptian science that was given to us a long time ago. This Egyptian science is replicated in these pictures like Kundalini. You see the stiff penis, you see the horns on his head. All of this has already been here, and this is what we practice. That's why they hold these statues of us to show us everything. So even though it's a sexual energy, it doesn't mean how they word it today. You understand? Now, believe it or not, the West Africans, for some reason, have these people as their gods. Baron Samadi, the same gods of the Mexicans is the same gods of Ifa. The same gods of the Catholic religion is the same gods of these original people. The same gods of the pygmies. So for some reason, the hat man and all of them, they've been in the astral world before there was hats on the earth. You know, and all of these can be replicated by our ancestors like this. You see the double-headed dragon. You see the double-headed dragon? These is portals. This is how we travel into this world is on this side of the mouth. But everything is what the Egyptians called the opening of the mouth. The opening of the mouth is everything. Look at my shirt. See the opening of the mouth? This is who we are. You can't avoid this. Look at the clouds. If you look at the clouds is opening their mouth. The Egyptian got it as the ritual called opening the mouth. If you want to learn the opening of the mouth and how to be ancestors, get in touch with me. It's a ritual that you have to pay for. But this is the double-headed dragon. You come in one world, the physical world, and then you come out in the spiritual world on the other side. If you can't see this dragon, you can't travel in between. Because you have to go into first darkness, where you only see blackness, like here. And then, as you see this blackness, you see something start coming in slowly, like that little piece of light up there, slowly coming in. Over time, it start coming in. Then all of a sudden, it start moving around like this. It start moving around. Next thing you know, it slowly start coming towards you. And it's so funny, you be like, oh, it's the moon. It's everything. You on it and everything. Visiting craters, you on it. And you don't know what you're on. And you go in different places as it get bigger and you're seeing, yo, I'm on Saturn. Oh, I'm in this world. I'm in that world. And all of a sudden, later on, a year later, you in the fucking dragon. Never knew it. You was right here in the dragon, thinking you on Mars, Jupiter, this, that. And you in the dragon. You understand? That's why they paint these pictures and show you. Look, if you don't believe me, what is in front of his face, touching his nose? The dragon. What is he doing? He's meditating. Look at his position. This is what we did. This is what our ancestors did. What's in front of his face? Snake. The circle. What is he made of? Anthropomorphic beings. More beings, smaller beings is inside his face and body. Just like that. That's who we are. You have to realize the nose is Vishnu. Do your research into the nose. You see how it touches the nose? It has to. You see what's up here? This spiral? These are chakras. This represents chakras. This is all chakras here. Chakras, the petal, the rose petal. The dimensions you have to travel to come out in other worlds. They show you in all these drawings if you understand how they work, the concept of it. You understand? So I'm putting you on so that you can see when I tell you about logos, the cell, and you in one ray of light, here it is. This is what's called a Devi in the circle. This is a ray of light. This is how you would look if you was to go back into your solar logo. This is a solar logo right here. Same thing represent right here. This is now the same thing. The Devi always is in the circle, the Devi in the circle, which will represent the Yoni right here, the energy of the Yoni. You see how it still look like the Vivica Piscis or whatever? All of them still look like the Yoni. This is all one thing in this world, and it replicates itself in a Fibonacci sequence over and over again. So, for you to understand these concepts, then, you will understand everything. Look at this picture, Maya Dwarf image, right? And you see what she got? What I try to teach you about the ring. You see, the ring is very important. This is chakra. These is ancestors. These is what we do. You see the dragon on the head that's touching up there? Once you understand these is who you are, and you get these weird experiences happen to it, you won't feel so weird, bugged out, or whatever. You will understand this is your true abilities. Now, this is an Olmec statue, right? Of a pygmy. Olmec statue. Olmec first gen or whatever. The most important thing to realize is the hat on the head. You see the hat on the head? First people always had the hat. Hat was always here. That's why I said Baron Samadi, all of them, the hat people, was the real first people. You know, this is an old drawing. This is how it would look in the astral when you go in there the right way. You see the dragon? They showing you the dragon is in every world. He extends from this world and go into another world. You see, this is the same double-headed dragon, but this is how you enter this world, through him. You see he formed chakras. These circles is chakras. And then you come out in another world as you go out his tail. And that's why you see people hopping through, coming through, dimension hopping. These are people dimension hopping right here. You see them? That's what you call dimension hopping. So I just wanted to give you a good understanding of what's going on. And these is what's called chakras right here. These is chakras. So these, what we think is nothing, is what you need to learn is this, so you'll be able to understand what's going on. Once you understand this, then you will be able to see that this is the snake, the serpent, or whatever it is. Now, if you're not able to grasp these concepts, the same thing like I show you the ring. This is the ring like I have. This will be the equivalent to these. As you can see, it's nothing new. This is this, the ring on the string, and this would be equivalent to those. You see the rings? That's equivalent. So these is nothing different what I'm showing you that haven't been already here. And to tell you, these is called ancestor footprints or whatever. They don't know what they are, but that's what I teach. I teach what these are and how to use them. Over here, you can see them ancestors with the chakras. You see the chakras on the ground? And you see where they are around them? This is what we do. So only ancestors understand the ancient knowledge, but they don't understand it. But this is how we use that to do this. And I could teach you what that means as we go on and learn. But if you want to affect this world, you will have to learn chakras, the system, and how it actually has influence on it. Now, the gods, how the gods work is like this. Would you believe this is my door in my bathroom? But look what comes through my door. You see the eye? It looks like a face. So if you're not able to see like ancestors and how they work, let me zoom in on this face. You see this face? He talks to you through the eye, through the face, and it'll just pop up. As you can see, this is the jam of my door, and he'll get your attention. You understand? They'll get your attention however they want to do it. Now you see it's a face, you see the nose, the mouth, and one eye, you see the shading. And this is a door, this is a bathroom door. But he can have his own way of seeing you if he want to show himself. So I just want you to understand how all this works. And, you know, that's about it for this little thing. Alright? Now, traveling the unknown. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. It's the whole unknown in the other world is designed to actually take fear out of you. It's a fear factor that every time you accomplish one fear, overcome one fear, it takes you to another level of fear that is worse than that level so you can overcome that. So it's always overcoming, like, I feel better, but then, bam, you hit with a harder fear. But each test now gives you stronger and give you closer to your pure self, your true inner self. Because the fear is actually what we make this mask about, why we follow the program, why we want to participate. But once you don't have no fear in you, you're going to go home. You want to leave. So it's like you overcome your fear to go back home. So I just wanted you to understand how the ancestors work and why all these things is important. Anyways, I'm about done. Any question or whatever, you know, I'm here. We could talk. And y'all have a good evening. One love.